Hey everybody! So, today, I wanted to recreate a look that I posted a couple weeks ago on my Instagram page. It's this gemstone inspired eyeshadow look. I actually picked up these really cool gemstone hairpins from a shop near my house the other week. They're so cool and they're so pretty, and seeing all the colors, I broke the one that had like all the purples on it, but it really made me want to like play with color and do like a fun gemstone inspired eye look. So that's what we're doing today. And I thought since I'm going to be using an affordable eyeshadow palette today, that would also be kind of fun to do the rest of my face using entirely like drugstore affordable products. Most of the things that I'm using today I've had for a while and I really like and would highly recommend. Two of the products are things that I'm using for the first time today. My like foundation tinted moisturizer product and my mascara. So I'll give you my thoughts and kind of first impression review on those at the end of the video, but everything else I really love and would highly recommend if you're curious. Okay, if you want to see what I did and what I used and how I did it, let's go. For starters, I'm just priming my face with a little bit of moisturizer. This is like a gel moisturizer from this brand Verse. Next, I'm using the e.l.f. foundation serum. This is new to me, so I'll give you my thoughts at the end, but it's nice. I was sniffing it because I thought it reminded me of something, but I couldn't figure out what it was. But yeah, I think it's pretty. Next up is the Colourpop No Filter Concealer. I'm just using this to kind of spot conceal. I don't do a lot of heavy concealing, but I do have quite a bit of redness in my skin that I like to cover up, as well as like a couple blemishes here and there, and I find that it works really well for that. I like it a lot compared to other concealers like the Tarte Shape Tape. And then I'm going in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. I friggin' love this bronzer. It's so pretty. I know everybody talks about it and has used it for years, but they're right, man. This is really pretty. Next up, I'm using some highlighter. I bought this one from Essence because I heard Kathleen Lice talking about it, and I'll buy anything she talks about. And yeah, it's pretty. It's really subtle. Okay, another Physicians Formula product. I love these blushes. I don't hear or see them being talked about a ton anymore, but I think they're so pretty, and recently I've been liking applying my blush a little higher on my cheekbones to kind of mix it with my highlight. I think it's really pretty. Okay, moving on to the eyeshadow look. The first thing I'm doing is taking Lovesick in my crease and really buffing it out to make it nice and smoky, and then I'm packing on the shade Legend all over my lid. It's this really pretty like duochrome cranberry color. And then I'm taking a blending brush and blending that up into the shade Lovesick to make all the shades look nice and cohesive and blended together. And then I'm taking the color Illusion on my inner corner and Alchemist on my outer corner. Here I made a little bit of a mistake with the color Alchemist. It got a little muddy, so what I did to fix it is take the skinny end of a flat shader brush and just use little like inward moving strokes to kind of buff out the color, and I find that that really helped a lot. And the next thing I did was go over all those colors that I used, getting them wet. I don't think you have to do this, but it does make the duochrome way more intense and pretty and metallic. And then I connected my upper and lower lash lines and blended it out to make it look nice and smoky and soft. And again, the whole time I'm pretty much blending inward. I find that that helps me out a lot. And next I'm filling in my eyebrows with the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. I really like this. I've been using it for a couple days, and I think it's pretty much identical to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I think if you were trying to decide between the two, I would definitely say go for this one. It's like half the price. To set my brows in place, I'm using the Flower Beauty Bubble Brow. I am obsessed with this product. It's so good. It makes my brows look so feathery, but I went to look at the price on the Ulta website and I couldn't find it on there or on the Flower Beauty website. So Drew Barrymore, if you discontinue this product, I'm gonna flip out. And then I'm using the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise Mascara in Black Brown. This is another new product, so I'll give you a more in-depth review at the end. And then I'm using the Wet n Wild PAC-MAN Ghost Gloss. Super pretty. Unfortunately, it was limited edition, so I don't know if you can get it anymore, but it is a really pretty, like, peachy color. I like it a lot. And with that, the voiceover portion of this video draws to a close. Okay. That is it. I really like the way this looked. Like I said, I was recreating a look I've already done, so I kind of had like a blueprint for what I wanted to do. So yeah, let's do a little rundown of the palette, and then I also had a couple like first impressions types things in there that I wanted to give you my thoughts on. Okay, so first things first, the Alycia Marie 1991 BH Cosmetics palette. I've used this a couple times now. I think it's really cute. I think that it's a really like good selection of colors. Like I love that you have an entire row of mattes and an entire row of these like duo chrome shimmers. I think the mattes are great. I mean, you saw like I struggled a little bit, but I don't think that really had anything to do with the palette or the shadows. That just has to do with me being kind of a beginner. But yeah, overall I really like this palette. I think it's really fun. I'm not a huge eyeshadow wearer, but I find that I've like had this sitting out and it's really made me want to like play with all the different colors, and I've found a lot of things that like if I want to create a certain kind of look, I can go to this and kind of get what I'm looking for. I think you can do a lot with it. There's obviously a lot of like really neutral matte shades that you could do like an everyday look with. There's a lot of really fun duochrome colors for you to like play with. That's usually what kind of draws me in, or like these really fun like pops of color. But yeah, I think it's a great palette. I didn't really have any problems with it. Okay, the other two things that were first impressions were the foundation serum and the mascara. I'll start with this quickly because if you're watching my video, you've probably already seen a video of someone using this mascara. It's everywhere. There's not a lot to say about it, but I had never tried it before. So I figured I would pick it up because I didn't have a drugstore mascara. I got mine in the shade Black Brown because I wanted it to be a little softer. I didn't want like super intense. I didn't want like intensely dark lashes. A little hard for me to say because it is literally the first time I've used it. But I thought it was nice, and I actually really like this Black Brown color. I'm someone who tends to prefer a drier formula with mascara, so I have a feeling that once it starts to get old and crusty, I'll like it a lot more, because that's usually kind of the look that I like for my lashes to have, is once the mascara starts to dry out a little bit. I like that a lot. So maybe I'll update you down the road, but it's a little hard for me to say, but it looks great. Like I don't have anything negative to say about this. Okay, the other thing that I tried for the first time today was this e.l.f. foundation serum. This was super interesting and not really what I expected. The first thing that I found really cool is that this has sunscreen in it, and it's zinc oxide, which is really cool because I find that a lot of drugstore products that have sunscreen in them are often chemical sunscreens, which I generally avoid because I'm pretty sensitive to them. So for me, it's usually kind of a turnoff when a product has a sunscreen in it or advertises that it has sunscreen, because it's usually avobenzone or octinoxate, and I found that I'm quite sensitive to those, but this is zinc, and fuck yeah, I think that's so cool. This was really liquidy. Like they're not kidding when they say foundation serum. It really is like a serum texture. I've heard people compare this to the Glossier skin tint, and I kind of agree. Now that I'm trying it, it's incredibly liquidy. It's incredibly sheer. Like you could see when I was blending it on my face, this really is, it's interesting that they say foundation. I guess like I would call it a skin tint. Like I don't think it really provided that much coverage. After I shook it up quite a bit, it did thicken a little, and the pigment kind of got mixed around in the bottle, and it started to have more coverage, but even then it was really just a tint. But I think this is really pretty. I don't know what the shade range is like. The CVS I went to had literally two shades. They had Fair Light and Light Medium, which is what I used. If you like the Glossier skin tint, or you've been curious to try it, I would definitely say go get this. It's a lot cheaper, and it has sunscreen, which I think is really cool. One thing I will say that is dissimilar is this feels quite a bit oilier. So if you are someone that you don't think you would like an oilier product, I like it because I have pretty dry skin. So I found that to be quite nice, but if that would turn you off, then maybe this is not for you, because it did feel a little oilier than the Glossier skin tint. But I really like this. I'm excited to keep using it. I'm excited to try it a few more times and see how I like it, but so far so good, man. I think this is really sick. I will say, as a sunscreen element, the thing with physical sunscreens that I've learned is you really do have to put on like quite a thick layer for them to be effective. Like I know with, for example, with this one, for it to actually work as a sunscreen, you do have to put on like a pretty thick opaque layer, which is why I mix it with this to get rid of that white cast. So I don't doubt that this has sunscreen in it, but I don't know how much you would have to put on in order for it to be an effective sunscreen by itself. So this is something that I would probably still personally elect to put a separate sunscreen on underneath, just because I feel like you might have to put on so much of this in order for it to work as a sunscreen, if that makes sense, in order for it to be effective. But yeah, that is all for me, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you the next time I decide to do this. Bye.